Hello everyone, my name is David Gay and thank you very much for watching the 14th episode of David Needs a Job. Okay, I was doing some file cabinet cleaning today, getting rid of some old documentation, most notably documentation pertaining to my job search, which is quite a thick file. I came across an old document from One Voice Canada, a flyer for a personal image enhancement workshop hosted by Neela Hassan, who is the CEO of Global Image Strategies. Now, before I continue on with this episode, and just so I don't have a pack of lawyers on my six for what I'm about to say, I have nothing against Ms. Hassan or her corporation or the services that her corporation provides. I may disagree with it. I certainly have an issue with the viewpoint that these services imply with regards to a job search, which I will explain later in the episode, but we live in a democratic and capitalistic society, and what she is doing is neither illegal nor immoral. It's just something that I don't generally support or agree with. In this flyer, and it says right here, by the way, this flyer is about a year old, so I don't even know why I'm hanging on to it. But it says here in this flyer, in today's competitive, fast-moving, constantly changing world, skills and knowledge alone are not enough to succeed. Your image has a huge impact on your success. We constantly communicate through what we wear, how we behave, and how we feel. Right there, the red alert klaxon goes off in my head. And I have touched on this in several of my episodes regarding how we as human beings are very superficial and very shallow. We do not judge people by their abilities or the past actions, but how they look, how they dress, a preconceived notion of beauty that changes as often as the tides. And thanks to the power of mass media and Hollywood and our movie stars and the sports athletes that we look up to, we have these values of what is beautiful and what is not constantly enforced all the way down to our young people. When I was a little boy growing up, my parents taught me a lot of things. And two things that pertain to this particular topic regarding beauty and appearance is don't judge people by their appearance. And two, beauty is skin deep. And I'm now almost 50 years old. I just turned 49. But those two particular points live strong and free inside of me. I generally do not judge people by their appearances, and I certainly do not have a conceived notion of what is beautiful and what is not beautiful, except by the actions that they do. I've been on this world long enough to know that I have encountered people who were very attractive by society standards, but did rather cruel things. I have also met people, because of some injury or because of a birth defect, may appear repulsive or grotesque, but inside they were absolutely wonderful, beautiful people. And while I still hold those particular values close to me as part of my core value system of what makes me a good person, other people may see those values as very quaint, old-fashioned, obsolete kind of thinking. And unfortunately, they may not be alone in that rationale. If you look at our television, newspaper ads, commercials, even the movies that we watch, we tend to portray good and evil as synonymous with beauty and not so beautiful. I mean, certainly look at the action films, for example. Look at the leading man or leading woman in all of the romantic comedies. They tend to be very attractive, very physically strong. They dress well, perfect set of chompers. Full head of hair, while the bad guy is usually either a monster or someone who's very unattractive by society standards, shorter, weaker, might even represent a certain ethnic minority. Unfortunately, that's the case, but it is true. We do happen to see that sort of prejudice in the films that's being produced. Again, just look at the media, look at the TV shows that you watch, look at the movies you pay money to, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, if you've got some common sense inside you, and you follow the news on the radio, on TV, or in the local newspaper, you are aware that Hollywood's rather twisted interpretation of what is good and what is not good, depending on the person's level of attractiveness, does not necessarily carry over into real life. You have, for example, seen pictures of people who have committed the most monstrous acts of crime against the society. Rapists, pedophiles, murderers. And just looking at these people, they are neither always ugly or always attractive. It's pretty much a random thing. And those same people who have been accused of committing such horrible crimes, they don't look any different than your next door neighbor, or maybe the people you associate with as volunteers in a local charity, or even the people at your job who you consider your coworker or your employer. Now, on the subject of employment and the workplace, where the accused have jobs, the fact that they may be exemplary computer programmers that write stable code, or are salesmen that bring in high margins of profit, or are natural-born leaders that can lead a company to success, has no direct correlation whatsoever to the acts that they've done and to the fact that these people are sick pieces of work that should be locked away for a very, very, very long time. The point that I'm trying to make in this episode is that what makes a person a good employee or even a good fit for a job opening in a corporation has nothing to do with anything else than the skills and abilities that the person brings to the table at the time of the job application. In other words, what is the person's general knowledge of the job, the person's abilities and skills, the person's ability to be a team player or to work independently if the job description demands it. Does the person meet his deadlines? Does the person follow the chain of command? Those attributes and those attributes alone are a direct correlation to whether or not a person is qualified to hold a position at a company. What a person does in their off time, good or bad, or how a person looks, again, good or bad as defined by society, has nothing to do with the person's professional success or failure on the job. Now, I have had a growing suspicion, in fact, a general sense of unease since my job search started in January of 2010, that the interviewer places just as much emphasis on how physically attractive you are and how fashionably presented you are as he or she does in terms of your work experience and your skill set. In fact, he or she may put even more emphasis on how you look and how you dress. And going to Ms. Hassan's Global Image Strategies Facebook page confirms my worry to alarming levels. Some of the quotations, and this is exactly what she says here on her page, I don't make this up. Nala Hassan is the president of Global Image Strategies, a premier image consulting firm that trains, grooms, and empowers individuals and organizations worldwide. Mission statement: at Global Image Strategies, we strive to maximize an impeccable, powerful image for our clients. In the description it reads, an individual's image, i.e. appearance, behavior, and communication and mindset influence people dramatically and instantly. Our objective is to ensure you consistently project an unforgettable first impression, a powerful presence, and powerful or positive mindset. Through image enhancement, communication training, and adequate coaching, we ensure that our clients project memorable distinctions in the minds of everyone they meet. In today's fast-paced, constantly changing world, your technical knowledge alone is not enough. What a worrying statement. In less than 10 seconds, people judge you based on what you project through your appearance and body language. This becomes even more challenging in our global community that embraces multicultural diversity. Let's call this exactly the way it sounds, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Hassan and global image strategies are heralds of the new world order of what job seeking is going to be all about. It's not going to matter how much you know. It's not going to matter that you were not fired from your last job, or if you were in my situation, you worked for 20 years in the IT field and held many positions and have great references. How you look will probably have just as much importance, if not more importance, than your accomplishments. As I said at the very beginning of this episode, what Ms. Hassan is doing, what Global Image Strategies is doing, is neither illegal nor immoral. And I will even go as far as to say that there's some merit of truth to what she's saying. There is a bias based on appearance during the interview process that is born of our obsession with Hollywood, with our movie stars and our sports athletes that we look up to. But let us also say that there are other forms of discrimination that are being practiced. Racial discrimination, gender discrimination, sexual preference discrimination, and religious discrimination that are, without question, illegal and against the law. No one should be discriminated against or not given the opportunity to be hired for something that has absolutely nothing to do with the qualifications needed in order to do a job that is being offered by a company. Appearance is one of those things. And what we are seeing is a form of discrimination based on appearance. That, in my viewpoint, is also illegal, much like these other forms of discrimination. It is unfair to ask any job seeker to undergo a radical physical change in order to conform to a social norm just because that person needs a job. That's my say for today. That's my episode. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch David Needs a Job, and I look forward to talking to you again next episode. Bye for now.